says in Ephesians chapter 6, put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the schemes, the devil's schemes. Right? That word schemes there is the Greek word strategeo. That's where we get our word strategy from. All right? In the King James it says wiles. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, that the wiles of the devil, and to best appreciate that is remembering the Wile E. Coyote from Looney Tunes. How many of us remember Wile E. Coyote? Yeah. All right? Why was he wily? Because he was wily because he always had a strategy to catch the roadrunner. It was a preemptive, strategically designed, a calculated plan to trap the roadrunner, to get him so that he could sift him. The schemes of the devil, the strategies. Next passage. Because our struggle is not against flesh and blood. Some of you think that when you're arguing with your family members, it's actually them you're arguing with.
Say that again.
Some of us. You actually think that when you're arguing with your spouse, and that pride stands up, and that anger is trying to embarrass you in public with the kids, some of you think that you're actually fighting that person.
No, that ain't true.
But the scripture is explicit, very clear, that the battle is not against your loved one. Your struggle, your wrestling match, is not against your flesh and blood. Instead, it's against rulers.
That's it.
Now that word ruler that word ruler, in the King James it says principalities. Here's what it means in the Greek. It's the Greek word arche, A-R-C-H-E. A-R-C-H-E, arche. It's where we get the word arch from in English. I'll put it in perspective for you. Many of you know I'm a Michigan grad, and I'm very proud of my school.
Well.
And we got rivalry week coming up against Michigan State.
Okay.
Mercy. Say amen.
Amen.
All right. Now, Michigan State is a rival. But Ohio State is our arch rival. Arche, arch, means supreme. It means first. It means the top of an organization. You're fighting against something that is supremely organized and empowered. You're fighting against an arch rival. The enemy is not only trying to sift you as wheat, but he is the supreme one that is against you. He's not just a rival. He's the arch rival. Are you seeing it? All right? Against authorities, against the powers of this dark world. Now, this word authority here in the Greek is, in the King James, it actually says power. Against power. Anybody read that in their Bible? It says powers. You're fighting against powers.
Yes, sir.
In the King James, it says power. In the Greek, that word power is the Greek word exousia. E-X-O-U-S-I-A, exousia. Now, the word exousia, there are two words in the Greek for power. The first of which we see here is exousia, which means delegated authority. It means authority that's been given to one that has a measurable control to it. It means authority that's been dispatched to the intent of accomplishing something that the power above you wants to accomplish. It's exousia. But the scripture says in the book of Acts that he shall give us power. That word power is not exousia. That word is the Greek word dunamis. D-U-N-A-M-I-S. It's the Greek word that actually means dynamite, explosive power, power to transform, power to influence, power to overcome. The scripture says that even though you're fighting against exousia, I've given you dunamis. Are you hearing me? That this power is limited. It's confined. Remember, Satan has asked me to sift you as wheat. Don't forget that. Not too soon, okay? Satan has asked me. He's under control. He's being managed. But I've given you power to tread on serpents.
Yes.
You are more than conquerors through him who loves you.
Yes,
All right. Now, anytime, because you're fighting against this, because you're fighting against rulers, against authorities, and against the powers of this dark world, because you're fighting against this, anytime a demonic spirit attacks, you can put it up, next slide, it's strategically trying to assassinate something specific. Right? You gotta hear this. Are you getting anything out of this? All right. Anytime the spirit of the enemy, the dark forces, attack you, just like any other assassin, it's trying to stop something specific. It's after something specific. The spirit of division is what we're talking about today. It's being sifted, being divided. Some of you are divided right now in your own homes. And some of you can't say amen because the representative from your own home is sitting next to you. So again, like I said last Sunday or 2 Sundays ago, if you're in trouble, just blink twice. Pat your foot, rub your foot on that carpet a little bit. I'll send help. Okay? Divided in your own homes. Some of you have relationships that you've been discontinued. You've been dissociated from. We're going to talk more about that. But the spirit of division specifically is after these things: agreement, harmony, and unity in your relationships, so that your God-given purpose is assassinated. Right? Satan desires to have you, possess you, so that he can sift you. He cannot sift you if he does not possess you. Satan wants to have you. He's after you. He's petitioning God to ask him to let go of the hedge, to lift it up, because he wants to sift you. He wants to divide you. And he wants these things. This is the equivalent of his possession. He wants to possess you in your agreement, in harmony, and your unity in relationships. He wants to possess that so that he can abort your God-given design purpose in those relationships. Are you seeing it? All right? Now, Scripture says in Amos chapter 3, verse 3, how can two walk together? How two walk together unless they have agreed to do so? Do you not think that the enemy doesn't know this? He knows that if I can sow discord in your life, if I can sow confusion in your relationships, that you will never walk together. I specialize in marriage counseling, and every couple that makes it to my office, on my couch, they've disagreed. They've stopped walking together at some point. At some point, somebody stopped walking together. It doesn't happen. You don't see me. You don't hire me. I don't get a job unless Satan has successfully sifted the marriage. Because he knows that if I can get you to disagree, if I can get you to hold resentment in your heart, if I can get you to not communicate, if I can get you to be angry, if I can get you to not talk, if I can get you to be passive aggressive, I can successfully dissociate you.
Dealing with some stuff. Mercy.
And you won't walk together because you disagree. His ploy, his objective is to get you to disagree. Are we awake? Are we following me? Yes. All right. So there are two relationships, two primary relationships that the enemy is seeking to assassinate. Two relationships. Number one, your vertical relationship. Your vertical relationship. What is your vertical relationship? Your vertical relationship. Your vertical